Hello, everyone. This is Jeff from the Cybersecurity and IT Professional Podcast, where industry leaders share their insights. It's 6 questions in 9 minutes because hackers never sleep. So let's jump into it. Question number 1. In a few sentences, please tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi, this is David Glick. I work at Flexe, which is an on-demand warehousing company, and I'm the CTO. We just raised our Series C this morning, so we're excited about that. And before that, I spent 20 years at Amazon. The last 5 or 6, I was the VP of Fulfillment Technology and Transportation Technology.
This morning, Series C, congratulations.
Thank you.
In your current position, what is the best thing about what you do?
It's a small company, and I'm one of the most senior folks there. So, A, I get to hire the people that I like to work with. B, I've been able to influence the culture and build a culture which super proud of, where we get a lot of stuff done, but we also treat people well.
Treating people well. That's something to be said about that. Question number 3. We hear from other industry leaders that cybersecurity is not only a top concern today, but getting bigger every day. What does that mean to you?
I've spent most of my career in fulfillment. I've done some other things, but the nightmare scenario is people standing around, not being able to do their jobs, not being able to pick products, and you're burning whatever, $10,000 an hour with people standing around. Even more than that, if you get hacked and you're down hard for some period of time, your customers are going to leave, and it's probably the only thing that can kill a company. The only single event that can kill a company dead is a cyber attack.
Agreed. Then that gets us into question number 4, the meat of the podcast. What insights about security in the fulfillment space would you like to share with our community?
Yeah, one of the challenges in fulfillment is you've got a lot of people who you don't really know walking around your building. And so the idea of trying to protect the network or making sure everybody has badges and only authorized people are in the building, which you can do in a corporate environment, just not possible in a fulfillment environment where you've got, Amazon has 1 million people walking around their warehouses. We have tens of thousands in ours, and there's no way to vet all of those folks. And so, there's nothing stopping you from being compromised. So at the first step, you have to assume you're compromised, and then I always think about tiny bubbles. The security guys always talk about tiny bubbles, like how do we keep passwords out of the fulfillment centers? Like how do we have a strong network segmentation? How do we have a good firewall between the fulfillment and then the corporate jewels, which are back at HQ or in the cloud or someplace else? The second thing is, as you get more sophisticated, our shop is mostly manual, but when you get more sophisticated, every single one of those PLCs, people install software on those with a USB card, right? It's getting better. They move to IPC, industrial PCs, but there's tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of PLCs out there which are not centrally managed. There's no backup for them. That was one of my things at Amazon. Is like, we have to have backups of every single device, because if someone bricks it, you could take us down for the season. Or at least for a few hours, and you can never catch up once that happens. And then the same is true, and a little less so at Flex, where we're mostly a manual shop. But every single PLC that controls a sortation or a sorter, same thing, a robot, all of those things have firmware and they can be bricked. And so you have to be ever vigilant for that. And then one of the most famous hacks is Target, right? And the way that Target was hacked was that their HVAC vendor left the line open, and someone dialed into the HVAC, and it wasn't on the vendor net. And so they got onto the FC network, and then from there they got into the corporate network. And so, every little hole can be exploited. So you have people in your building, you have vendors dialing into your building, you have super important equipment in your building which has to run, because you don't recognize revenue until the shipment goes out the door, and then you have access to the corporate network. And so all of those are potential vectors.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Question number 5. What other successful IT professionals like yourself, Dave, would you like to acknowledge and might want to be on our podcast?
Yeah, one of the guys who I really respected when I was at Amazon is Jesper Johansson, who's he was a principal or distinguished engineer at Amazon. Troy Roberts is our IT security leader at Flexe. And then, Ken McFarland recently retired from Amazon, but he was also in the IT/network/security space. And, those are the people who I look up to in that space.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. And the final question number 6. What is your favorite piece of retro technology that makes you smile?
I loved my BlackBerry, the BBM, and we were doing our thumbs. And, I used to sit on the opposite side of room meetings, and my friend and I would text back and forth using BBM. And then one day he went out and bought an iPhone, and I felt betrayed because we could no longer text during the meetings. And so I ended up having to go buy an iPhone as well.
Well, you did it. 6 questions in 9 minutes, Dave. We actually have about a minute left. Is there anything else that you wanted to fill us in on about your company, about yourself, anything at all?
Flexe is a super exciting place to work. As I said, we just raised $70 million in our Series C. We're looking for engineers, PMs, TPMs, and we are transforming the warehousing business from something that is long contracts, big capital, very batchy, to something that's on demand, pay as you go. We think of it as the AWS of warehousing. Instead of having to build your own data center or go to a colo facility, you can pay as you go, pay by the pick, and pay by the pallet for storage.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you, Dave. Make sure to check out more episodes and insights from the Cybersecurity and IT Professional Podcast. Again, my name is Jeff. Thank you and be well.